Good morning, it's Kaylee. I thought I would do my birth story because my video of holding my NICU baby for the first time went a little bit viral, and I've been getting messages asking kind of what happened. So basically, I had a terrible pregnancy. I had hyperemesis gravidarum. I was throwing up every day of my pregnancy. I had to take a month of short-term disability. So that was just the pregnancy aspect. I had my baby shower at 32 weeks. It was perfect. It was amazing. And then the next day, I didn't feel so great. And I thought it was because I overdid it at the shower. I was wearing 4-inch heels. All my best friends had flown into town, and I thought, I think I just, overdid it this weekend. Kind of laid in bed the whole rest of the day. That was a Sunday. And then that night I went to bed early and was feeling kind of crampy, like period crampy. But I didn't think much of it. I just was like, again, overdid it. At 3 a.m. on Monday morning, I woke up and I was like, these cramps are getting kind of intense. And I thought maybe they're not cramps, maybe they're contractions. And I pulled out my phone and I started timing them, and they were about 5 to 7 minutes apart. So I woke up my husband and I said, I think I'm having contractions. And he said, no, you're 32 weeks. It's way too early. It's probably Braxton Hicks. And I said, I don't know. I just have a feeling like this feels different. So Monday at like 6 a.m., we went to the OB, like emergency room in my hospital. Right when I got there, they hooked me up to monitors. And a few minutes later, we're like, okay, your contractions are consistently 5 minutes apart. We're going to admit you because it's way too early. You're 2 months early. We need to try to get these contractions to stop. So I was moved to a labor and delivery room. I was admitted. They checked me. I was 1 centimeter dilated, and they gave me first shot of a lung shot. There's 2 shots that you can get if you start going into labor early to help kickstart your baby's lungs to be developed, and they're done 24 hours apart. So I got the first lung shot. They tried over the course of 3 days numerous different medications to try to get my contractions to stop, and they did not stop. Fast forward to Thursday morning. I'd been at the hospital since Monday. My contractions were 1 to 3 minutes apart for 4 straight days, but I was still 1 centimeter dilated. My OB came in and said, some women just contract like this. We're gonna send you home. We're gonna discharge you. This is just gonna be your new normal. We're gonna put you on bed rest. Come back in if something changes, like you feel pressure down there, your water breaks, something like that. So I lost my absolute mind because this is my first baby. All the books and everything tell you to go to the hospital if your contractions are less than 5 minutes apart. My contractions were 1 to 3 minutes apart, and so I was like, I don't know when to go back to the hospital. I didn't want to have this baby in the car at my house. I started to panic. They had to give me some medicine to calm me down because I was losing my freaking mind. So this was about 8 a.m. Thursday morning on April 11th. And they were going to get ready to discharge me. All of a sudden, I felt a gush of water and instantly knew my water broke. The second my water broke, I all of a sudden was in excruciating pain, like screaming, begging for somebody to help me. Thank God there was this one angel nurse, and she said she's screaming like someone that is 10 centimeters dilated and ready to push. The OB said, no, we just checked her 5 minutes ago. She's still 1 centimeter. And the nurse stuck up for me and said, you need to check her again. Trust me. They checked me and I was 8 centimeters. So I went from 1 centimeter to 8 centimeters in 5 minutes. At this point, I was screaming, somebody help me, because the pain was unbearable. And they said, what can we do to help you? And I was like, epidural. I luckily had already been getting fluids for 4 days. So they literally ripped the anesthesiologist from someone else's room and quickly got me the epidural. So the second they finished the epidural, they checked me again and they said, you're 10 centimeters, baby's in distress. We don't have time to even catheterize you. You need to get on all fours and you need to start pushing. So they flipped me onto all fours and waited for baby's heart to be a little bit better. Then they flipped me back over and said, you need to start pushing now. I probably pushed for about 30 minutes and he was out. The nurses and doctors were literally shocked. They had to page an OB stat to come help me because I went into labor so quickly. So from the time I was 1 centimeter to him being born was less than an hour and a half. The nurses said they have never seen someone dilate that quickly, that they were worried that I had a cervical uterine eruption. I didn't, thank God, but it was literally the most insane experience. My son was born at 33 weeks. They put him on my chest for a few moments. Then they rushed him to the NICU. So I had had to stay in the room for a few hours before I could go up to the NICU and really meet my son. When I did go up there, he had a feeding tube, he was on CPAP oxygen, he was in a warmer. It was really scary. So the viral video of first time holding my NICU baby was the day he was born, probably like 6 hours after he was born, when I got to hold him for the first time, and he was hooked up to all the wires. Ended up being a happy ending. We were in the NICU for 23 days and we were discharged, and now he is 3 months old and doing great. But it was a really scary experience. If you have had a NICU experience or a traumatic birth, you know, my thoughts are with you, and I really do encourage you to seek out therapy. I'm currently in therapy with a traumatic birth specialist, and it has done wonders. But anyways, that's my crazy birth story of randomly going into labor at 32 weeks.
Oh, I bet that first hold is such a relief, isn't it? Especially 33 weeks, you know? So she's like only just gone past the 6-month mark, maybe 6.5. She's got about 2.5 to go, maybe 3 months. So it is a lot for a mum to be a bit like, oh my god, this is so early in my pregnancy, like, she shouldn't be giving birth now. You can just tell by her face that it's such a relief. She's like, oh, yes, I've got my baby. Just listen to that, I was like, Jesus Christ. You know, how can she, like, I think a lot of time doctors just want the best for you, clearly. That's nothing to be expected. But it's the fact like they were like not listening to her, and that one nurse, if she wasn't there, like God knows what would happen. She would give birth in the car park or the car. But the fact she went from, in 5 minutes, 1 centimetre, so that's like what, this? To 8, that's insane. Genuinely insane. I can't. She's a woman. And just the fact like her waters broke just like that, you know, cramps, Braxton Hicks being told, contractions, everything. That's just insane. God, you must have been so scared. Bless her, that must have been horrific. I'm not surprised you had a traumatic birth. You do hear a lot of these, don't you? Like women who have traumatic births or postpartum. It's scary because there's also this like star from the UK. She was on like a show called Made in Chelsea, and she was called Louise Thompson, and she had a really horrific birth story, and it's quite similar to this, I think. More just the fact that she died. A lot of women go through, and it's not talked about, and I'm so glad this woman's gone through therapy and she's recommended to people, because there might be a lot of women who are watching that being like, oh my god, like, you know, I've been having the same symptoms and blah blah blah, this happened to me. But someone's commented going, that's while they were trying to send you home. They also made poor judgment calls for me, which led to unnecessary trauma, not loving the LED at that hospital. Lol, so sorry that happened to you. And then which the woman responded, I'm so sorry, they tried to discharge me the night before as well, but I literally refused to leave. If she's in pain, Jesus Christ, like, listen to the woman. I think that's insane. I'm so glad that nurse was there to help. It's horrible.